adventures, everybody. Do you like that opening music? That was June Nash's theme. Sounds like she's running away from something, I think. It was written by Laura Lynn Hardy, who is playing the vibraphone. It was produced by Billy Teichmiller, and I know I said that wrong. I'm so sorry, Billy. He also provided percussion, and it was recorded at Mill Kids Recording in Huntsville, Alabama. So thank you so much, guys, for that. And good to sort of see everybody. I can see you. You can't see me. Wait, you can see me. I can't see you. That's how it goes. What has been going on with me? My shin splints are gone. Yay. I'm back to running again. And we did 6 miles this morning. But before you are impressed, that's running intervals of 30 seconds running, 60 seconds walking, sometimes 90 seconds walking, and with a probably an average mile of like 13 and a half to 14 and a half minutes. So not impressive at all, but we're getting ourselves back on track. We've got a half marathon this weekend, and then our full marathon in January. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. There were a couple comments that I forgot to talk about the last time. So let me find them. Other way, I want to say from episode 3, the Beck 88 wrote, thoroughly enjoyed that. This was Todd explaining poetry. I've always liked poetry. Put music to Robert Frost's Two Roads Divided in a Yellow Wood when I was a kid. Remind me to dig that out and share it with you sometime. Please do, Becky. Please do. She was a singer. I'm sure she still is, but she toured and things in the 80s, I believe it was, and she's really good. So I would love to hear any music that she has written. And then on episode 4, when I read from 4 Bullets and a Ghost, which let's see, Patty wrote, it looks like I'm going to get hooked on more than the June Nash series. I love how you're developing 4 Bullets and a Ghost. Fun show. I like it too. I'm really happy with that one. I had set it aside and thought that I don't really like it, but then I dug it back out and said, you know what? I really do like that. So I'll be sharing more of that one in the future. I'm going to do a rave, but I'm going to pull my phone up and see if this will work because it's on my Kindle. So, okay. So can you see this? And I'll put it in the, God darn it. There you go. This is like backward and upside down. Anyway, I'm reading Early Grave by Laurie Drake, and it's got werewolves, and it's a lot of fun. I'm going to just read really quick to you from her Amazon page. Okay. A paranormal killer, a pack running scared. Can she track down the murderer before the next strike? Joey doesn't need her werewolf pack to complete her. Fiercely independent, she's looking forward to a long supernatural life of adventure alongside her best friend since childhood. But when Chris is murdered in a dark San Diego alley, her hopes for the future shatter. As werewolves are notoriously difficult to kill, Joey's convinced his death was no random act of violence. On the hunt for the cold-hearted killer, she discovers her own family has been keeping dangerous secrets, and her friend's spirit still lingers, trapped and tortured. To release Chris from eternal suffering, can Joey solve the mystery of his murder, before a new breed of magical enemy wipes out her entire pack? Early Grave is the first book in the action-packed Grant Wolf's urban fantasy series. If you like headstrong heroines, dark magic, and twists and turns you won't see coming, then you'll love Laurie Drake's gripping novel. And so far, yeah, I'm loving it. It's lots of fun. Let me figure out how to get back to okay, here I am. So it's really fun. So I hope to have Laurie on the show at a future date sometime soon. So check her book out, though, in the meantime. So I got that. We did comments. I really got to do something other than the sticky notes because this is going to eventually become a podcast, and I think the sticky note sound is going to be really annoying. But you won't have to watch me looking at the microphone like it's a person. So I don't know why I keep doing that. There's nobody over there. It's the microphone. So anyway, this week on Books Cubed, I have got Rosie Zwaduk, who is the voice of June Nash in the audiobooks. And I was really excited to talk with her and introduce you to her. And it's nice to put a face to a name. So without further ado, here she is. Okay. How are you doing, Rosie?
I'm good, Melissa. How are you?
I am good. I am good. As I said, as I introduced you, you are the voice of June Nash. And I was very excited when you got in touch with me and was interested in doing June Nash's voice. She needed someone who had a sarcastic, annoyed quality to her. And you captured her very well. Very well. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've wife, mother, been in the media industry for about 20 years now. Mostly the last 10, I've been working as a producer on film and TV. I do a little bit of everything on the side, a little bit of acting. Well, depends on who you ask. I call myself an actor. My husband calls myself a waitress because those are the only roles I ever seem to get. But I also teach film and TV at the high school level.
Nice, nice. And was it How to Sex Your Snake was not your first time delving into audio?
No, I piddled around with audio a little bit. I've gotten some radio spots back in Kansas. I used to read the newspaper for a blind organization. So I'd regularly come on and read the newspaper so that, for those that couldn't. And I did some radio commercial spots before. Now I'm doing a little more radio spots. But I'm really looking forward to getting into more audio books. I really enjoy the long form. Bit of a challenge, so it's a lot more fun.
And they're great to listen to. I love audiobooks. I walk my dog and I'm driving in a car and I'm listening to audiobooks or I'm listening to podcasts. And it's been wonderful, just absolutely wonderful. Now, on this show, I've done a couple of chapters that I've shared of either works in progress or current books that I have out.
Right.
And I stumble a lot over either talking too fast or I was reading an action scene in last week's episode and I was getting faster and faster and faster. And I had to stop and cut it and slow myself down and try not to get too loud and overwhelmed because I could see the mic levels just spiking as I was getting near the peak of the action scene. So what was the most challenging thing for you as you tackled How to Sex Your Snake?
Well, what I found out was that, and I guess I've always known, in the 3rd grade, I had a pretty severe lisp with my S's. I'd hold them on too long. And so that's actually something I still work with. I worked with a speech therapist and she did a phenomenal job. I was really bummed when I didn't have to go to speech therapy anymore. But those S's are, some things that I still, if I'm not real careful, sometimes I'll really struggle with them. I know some authors like to put in lots of S's or phrases with a lot of P's for pops, or I'm sure nobody would do that on purpose.
Hey, I removed the word cock-a-doodle-doo from this next one, so you don't have to crow.
Nothing like trying to
type it. I typed it, and I giggled for a while, but I texted you.
Nothing like 15 takes to try to get that sentence you thought was funny.
Yeah, I think there was a sentence that every word started with the letter P.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
That's which chapter it was. So the entire audiobook is just under 6 hours.
Right.
When someone listens to it, how many hours did it take you to record and to edit and to polish before you uploaded the files to our distributor?
I think I clocked in right around 45, 46 hours, which does and does not sound like a lot. To be fair, I was learning a new program and kind of learning my way around it. So I don't expect the next one to take as long. But you also can't sit down and at least myself, I couldn't sit down and record 8 hours a day. I could really only record like 2 or 3 chapters at the most. And that was if everything was right. At the time, I was recording in our audio studio at school, which was great most of the time. I do it after school, except for when the band was playing, and you just can't knock out that tuba. But as you can see, now I have my own home studio, so no tubas nearby that I'm aware of.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can see the studio behind you there. What kind of mic do you use?
That's a baby blue, or it's just a blue microphone is what they call it. It's about a $350 microphone.
Okay, yeah, mine is I don't know what mine is. It's about this tall. It's scary looking.
That's helpful.
Oh yeah. So the next June Nash book is How to Square Your Grouper, and it's probably going to be about the same length, I think. So you said you don't think it'll take you near as long to record this next one.
I'm going to try a couple new techniques that I've learned on the way, and I'm involved now with an audio recording group that we get together and have meetings, so I can really bounce some ideas off of and really hopefully take it to the next level. So it still takes a while. You still want to make sure it's edited well and everything else. So it'll always be more than 6 hours, or whatever the final product is. But I'm hoping to knock it down, not quite to 46.
Yeah, and it helps if I give you the final draft of the book too.
That would be nice. Yeah, I'm going to put in the next contract, no more changes. You know what? I like that word. It stays.
Yeah, there were a couple times when I texted her, uh-oh, there's been a change. You need to redo either this page or this chapter. And yeah, no, that's not going to happen this time.
Good.
So you talked about that you've been an actor, and Rosie was in a film.
Or a waitress. Yes.
A couple of films I've done, Rosie was in, right? I mean, you were in.
I was not in Crewing Up, but Finley Wade is when we met.
Okay, so that one, yeah. And then I did a pilot, Limbo, that is still in
that's
Limbo.
Right.
It's on a hard drive somewhere.
I guess we met at Limbo before Finley Wade.
Yeah, right. we used your storage facility.
That's right.
The long creepy halls and everything, and the dark, and it worked great. It's still, like I said, in limbo because it needed color correction. I couldn't do it, and nobody else did it. And then my son took my editing computer and moved away. So that was that. So I'm going to write it as a book, though. So eventually, okay. So then you can just do the audio for that. So that'll work. But what? Where was I going with this? Oh, so you got some acting. I mean, you come from acting, and how do you tackle the relationship? I mean, as an actor, and I worked as an actor too, you read the role, and as an actor, it's easier to put, I think, yourself into the role because you've got visual. And I was just listening to a podcast with, I want to say his name is Neil Ross, who just did the Academy Awards, and he might have done the Emmys also. He's a voiceover, and he's been doing voiceover for eons and eons and eons. And he was talking about, there was a class he took, a voiceover class, and the teacher had the actor come up, and the actor did the first monologue like it was a stage play, and it was big and larger than life. Then he did it as if it was a TV show, and it was much more subdued. Then he did it as if it was a film with the camera in a close-up, and he said you could barely hear the man, and it was all face and body, and the words were just so soft and whispered. And then he did it as a radio, and then it was different again. So it's all different. It's all very different acting wise. So how do you prepare for a role where no one can see you, where it's all voice? And you are an actor. I mean, you're not just the voiceover, you are the actor of the book.
Right. And that is one of the creative things I really liked about it, the ability to put that in there. First of all, I adore June, but she also drives me absolutely nuts, and I think we all have those friends that they're good people. They're just sometimes make the stupidest decisions. But you got to love them for who they are. They're well-meaning. And the fact that we can get inside June's head and see where her rationales are coming from, I think really helps to give her a good depth that we can pull from. So I like June. I would also, she'd be one of those friends I'd be going, what are you doing? But yeah, but you also think back and you know her, you know a little bit of her history, you know her life growing up. Her mom was not exactly the most caring and coddling, and so you take all these, and I think it's good because nobody's all good, nobody's all bad, nobody's all an idiot, and so you take all of these things together and you were able to weave that in, and then you just pull it out to get somebody who's just trying to make it through life, and she keeps getting put in these weird situations, some of her own making, some are not. So I think it's a lot of fun. She's a neat gal. I like her. I love her. I think she's great. She also drives me absolutely insane. So
Oh yeah, I don't think I can hang around with you. I don't think June would hang around with either one of us. I think that she's so. I know, really. I don't think she's like me either. Not that she wouldn't like us. It's that June. She's so lazy, and she just
she's
wants
so
to do
apathetic. Everything
and,
is just
but yeah, a lot of apathy. But she's got her brother that she totally has thrown everything into supporting him and being behind him, and just kind of she hides behind him.
yeah.
Now Morgan would be fun to hang out with.
Morgan, I would party with. He's kind of hot too.
Yeah, he's fun in this next book too, and then in the third book, and in this next book, How to Square Your Grouper, there's there's the B story, and in film you have the A story, the main story, and you have the B story, and sometimes a C story, smaller things that are happening, and as the main story is going along. And I needed something a little more interesting for the side story, so it involves Morgan, and then that becomes the A story in book 3. So Morgan kind of takes charge and drags June even more so into more shenanigans that involve the International Space Station in book 3. So I'm so excited. I'm going up for a half marathon in November that I've got shin splints, so I'm dying. I wear sneakers all day long from the moment I get up until I go to bed, and I'm in pain, and I keep my foot up and iced and ibuprofen. Yeah, I know. I was in the middle of a long run, and all of a sudden I would it's like I felt like I broke my leg. It was the weirdest thing. Yeah, so I've got shin splints, so I'm 2 miles at a time, and I go really slow. It's a wide stance, and I roll my foot correctly, or a long stride rather, roll my foot correctly, and I have to do the next run though because it's at Cape Canaveral, and we get to run through all the outer buildings and all the old areas that they used to use for different programs and things. So I'm really looking forward to wandering through there and taking lots of photos, because there'll be things that happen throughout there and all that. And yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that one. So that'll be, I'm like, I was hoping it would be to turn it into my editor. I'm going to see her in the middle of November. And I was hoping to have it finished when I see her, but I think that she and I are going to hammer out the story for the middle, because I've got the beginning and the end and not all the middle done. So it's probably not till the end of the year, but I'm hoping sooner. So in the meantime, before I give you the manuscript, what are you going to be doing next?
The same thing I've been doing for the last quite a while. I've got my cleaning supplies and my cobwebs, and I'm waiting for the next June Nash series.
I need to go a little faster. But the good thing is that as I'm writing book 2, I'm outlining book 3. So then I'll be able to just roll, and book 3 continues just like book 2 did. It just continues right along on a path. And then there'll be a short break while I write a spin-off series called Finley Wade. Well, it's not called, it's called 4 Bullets and a Ghost is the first episode, and I read a chapter from it last week. So if anybody, let's see now, this may not go up for a couple weeks. So just look back in the shows. I'll put in the show notes the link to that first chapter, but it's about private detectives and ghosts and murder, and
it's a great story.
Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah. So that'll be next. So, and now I know radio runs in the family. So your husband has a radio show.
Yep.
What is that and how can we find it?
Punk and Roll Radio Show with the Night Owl. And it's on Thursday nights, 99.1 downtown Tucson, and you can stream it online on your computer. So Thursday nights, Arizona time, 11 p to 1 a. We're huge in Australia. We mean
that's what he said. He was telling me that. I said, "Oh my God, that's so great."
huge in Australia.
Links
So
in the show notes, and if you live in Australia, tell us why. Why is it so big there? I
well,
mean,
probably because it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
drive time. So
Exactly.
that's probably it. That's probably it. Drive time. Okay. Well, I think that if anybody's watching this, I hope somebody's watching this or listening. We'll give away an e-copy, not e-copy, excuse me, an audio copy of the book.
Yay!
So yeah, I'll have the link in the show notes, and it'll run for, I don't know, a couple weeks. So if you're watching this too late, I'm sorry, but if you join my mailing list, you have an option or an opportunity to win ebooks and other wonderful things, and I'll have a link in the show notes. So thank you so much for chatting with me today. We tried this one time before, and it didn't work. She was in my practice for my first show, and it was all screwy, and I introduced her wrong, and oh my God, we laughed and laughed, and
yeah, we didn't get much accomplished.
we didn't get much accomplished, no. So it's better. I need to make like a little booth like you've got, so I can have behind me, so I can have cool things behind me. I think I'll build something.
It's my recording studio and library.
I know, but I mean, she has a really cool house, and it's this little cool cubby in her house. I've got this huge cavernous room behind me, and my voice is probably echoey. So I think that, and I have a little box for my audio and stuff and everything to keep it from being too wild. But I think I need like a backdrop, some cool backdrop. So I'm gonna think about
come
that.
Up with something, Melissa.
Maybe some like PVC pipe and like some curtains, and I can build something to go behind me. I love Home Depot, so I'll go play at Home Depot later today, maybe after I watch football.
That sounds fun.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And when we get ready to release the next audiobook, I'll have you back, and I'll have you read just a little sample.
Oh, sounds like fun.
Okay. Okay. Right. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Rosie. If you have not heard my audiobook for How to Sex Your Snake, Rosie does a great job. And if you would like to win a copy, possibly, go ahead and leave a comment on this show down below there, or on any of the episodes. This is episode number 7. So I will take anybody who leaves a comment, and I'll throw all those names in a hat, and I'll pick one around 6 o'clock. So on November 28th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, have your last comments in, and then I'll pick a name, and then I'll announce that in the show that airs on November 29th, 2018, that Thursday. I'm going to look at my calendar, make sure. Yeah, that's a Thursday. So go ahead and leave a comment. Go ahead and subscribe to the show. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're reading any good books. I would really like to feature indie authors. So if there's something good that I'm missing, and I'm trying to read as many books as I can, but my hours are a little limited. Anything that's interesting out there, go ahead and let me know. So that's a great thing to leave in the comments for me. And let's see, I think that's it. And you guys have a really good week, and go read a good book.